Yo, what is up, all you guys out there? The name is Tekken Heat, bringing you guys a crew episode driving my beautiful Street Spec 370Z around the West Coast area. And what the topic is on today is ricers. And the reason why I'm discussing this topic is for multiple reasons, really. One, because recently I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos of, different car vids and how a lot of people are doing like rice humiliations, and most of it is funny. Some of it is also misleading because there are a lot of people in this world who actually do not understand what the term exactly means, and people tend to, you know, misuse the word quite a lot, and it's been getting me a little aggravated, and many people in the comments aggravated too. And the other reason why I'm doing it is because it's kind of related to Need for Speed as a whole, and how during its prime time and the era we're going back to for 2015, how a lot of people, how there were people who actually didn't like it because a lot of people would call it like Need for Rice, and how a lot of the cars there, like its main point was just to rice out your cars. And it got me kind of irritated and stuff because it wasn't all about um I'm gonna put the quotes here, but ricing your car. It was mainly bringing your low end cars to something, raceable, bringing like your Honda Civic to something that can compete against supercars, or just under that, something very high end. And it's just something a lot of people really didn't understand and were confused on why so many people actually wanted us to go back to the Underground series because of how it's just a riced out era. But that is not going to be the case today, because today I'm actually going to be talking about how I feel about ricers and kind of clearing up what they actually are and what we're going back into. So, on the Urban Dictionary, looked up the word ricer, and this is the definition from it. First, its origin. It derives from the Latin word, and excuse my Latin here, ricarius, meaning to suck at everything you attempt. Now, the definition says a person who makes unnecessary modifications to their most often import car, hence the term rice, to make it most make it look faster. And then they give some examples of some common rice style modifications like fart cans, which are kind of like your eBay exhaust mufflers that really do not add any horsepower, but they just make your car more noisy. And for those that do not understand performance, and for those of you guys who don't exactly know how to properly mod a car, a lot of people think that the louder it is, the better your car. So that's a big misconception about, that racers tend to have. Something else I don't mention would be like humongous spoilers or ridiculous style spoilers. And this can mainly be seen throughout a lot of front wheel drive cars, because a lot of people know, well, a lot of people that know about cars know that adding a wing to a front wheel drive car is kind of useless. There's no point in trying to put downforce onto a front wheel drive car, because you're making it harder for the car to remain planted on the wheel, at least for its front wheels to remain planted on the wheels, because that is where its power is coming from, and putting, downforce to the rear and stuff is kind of lifting the front end up and stuff. And when you do that, it's kind of hard to get the powering wheels to get your car moving. So it's another pointless thing. And then some people just don't understand how to properly adjust the wing so it creates, usable downforce. Something else that they'll also mention will be stickers. Stickers, vinyls, etc. like that. Those that just make your car look flashy. This is understandable because a lot of people don't. Well, something about me is I respect when a guy wants to make his car look visually appealing in a decal like way, putting unique vinyls, some stripes, two-tone area, something like that. If it looks like that, it looks nice. However, when you go like completely ridiculous, putting stuff that just make no sense, especially like some cheap vinyls like stripes that are just peeling off or that are off centered. 'Cause I have seen some off centered stripes or where it's like you literally just painted it on. It's kind of like stupid. When it comes to stickers, it's also stupid because there are some people that just see the aftermarket sticker and just say, "Hey, let me just put this onto my car," even though my car has no relations to this aftermarket, company. So that's something that racers tend to do a lot, and that tends to piss a lot of people off as well because it's kind of like they try to make their cars look cool, but at the same time they're making themselves look like a fool while doing it. And then another very common yet uh I don't it's hard to explain, but it's kind of like a misleading, thing that a lot of people tend to have. People borderline it as being a ricer thing to do, and some people put it as like a visually appealing thing to do, and that is body kits and stuff. Some people tend to appreciate a body kit. Some people tend to look at it like you're an automatic ricer for doing a visual body kit onto the car, and the truth is really you're not a ricer for doing visual body modifications onto your car. The reason for that is because there wouldn't be so many aftermarket body kits out there if it wasn't that appealing to many people. It's like even looking at, pro race car drivers, a lot of them tend to have aftermarket wide body kits and people accept it. People love it. People say that it's beautiful, but the moment you put it onto a daily driving car, automatically they're racers is it doesn't make any sense. And to me, I really do love looking at body kits. I feel like it makes a car look a hell of a lot more unique since not many people use body kits, or at least on the daily. So I can appreciate a good looking body kit. Um, However, though, there are some times where you can just see it being put on a car, and you're just like, okay, you're kind of a racer because there's a difference between properly putting on a body kit and then there's one where you do it in a cheap, somewhat maybe a DIY way, where you can look at it and it's just like, all right, there wasn't much effort, or it just wasn't done right. And that's when you can start throwing around the ricer thing because it just doesn't look that good and it kind of looks half-assed. So I guess when it comes to that, yeah, you can put the ricer stamp on them, but if it looks visually appealing and stuff, like for instance, Mighty Car Mods, a lot of people gave not Marty, Moog, a lot of hate because he decided to put a aftermarket front bumper onto his S2000 and immediately everyone called him a ricer on it, even though a lot of people just ignored the fact that there was a lot of, performance mods on it too. And there are a lot of people who were even saying how, like those who were defending Moog, saying how just because you put on a front bumper does not mean you're a ricer. It looks amazing as hell. And if you guys have not seen this, just go onto YouTube, type in Marty Car Mods, Honda S2000, and and you'll see it right away. And it's just like, wow, this looks freaking amazing. But yet there's some people out there who just call it rice, and it makes no sense whatsoever. And so the main thing out of all this is when people use the term ricer, one of the biggest misuse of it is people are saying how any visual modification you do to your car automatically makes you a ricer. However, that's not the case. Yes, there are some things that are just useless visual modifications. That's understandable. But when you put it onto like any visual mod that was put onto the car, that does not automatically make them a ricer. Some people use it for, you know, actual purpose. Some people put on wings to their RWD or AWD cars as a way of to improve aerodynamic, downforce, and stuff like that, along with, putting splitters, air dams, um, body kits, and such in that category. Also, to improve aerodynamic, to improve the car as well, not just to improve the looks of it, which I have no problem with because I love seeing somebody try to make their car look even more unique than everyone else's, at least in a proper way. But you just can't throw the ricer term at them because it's a clear misuse of it, especially when people tend to ignore the fact that there is some performance mods put onto the car. Now, I can understand if there's like, say, just a cold air, just a intake done to the car, and that's all they do, and automatically, the racers start saying how, oh, their car makes like 500 horsepower as such, when it's just like a little Civic. Then yeah, you could start calling them a ricer because it's just like they don't know. And at the same time though, with the they don't know statement, it's also the best way to teach them and not automatically bash them. It's a great way to teach them so in the future they actually do their car right and they're actually more aware of what's going on to the car and what they're doing. So I don't like the term ricer. I really well, let me correct that. I don't like the misuse of the term ricer because it's always been misused throughout a long, long time. Even like way before I was even born, obviously. And seeing as how today, how there's been a lot of standards now of how anything you do now to your car, if there's any kind of visual mod, like even like some people might even say like putting a lip kit onto your car, which I plan on doing to my Civic, is riced out. It makes me sick because it's just like no. Yes, I will be doing modifications to my car. Yes, I love changing the visual look of my car, but that doesn't mean I'm a ricer. You know, people just don't understand. And when it comes to Need for Speed, trying to bring this back around to one of the main topics, yes, you can argue that some of the stuff that you're doing in the game is riced out. In Need for Speed Underground, there are a lot of things that you're capable of doing that some people might call you a ricer for, even even though that they are ignoring the fact that there's also a lot of performance upgrades that you are doing to your car. That being said, there are some stuff that are pretty useless to your car, such as putting wings onto your front wheel drive cars. There's some body modifications that's just like why neon lights just to make your car look flashy. And so I think in Underground 2 you probably had like spinners. It just wasn't necessary to do to your car and stuff, and I understand that. But at the same time though, it's a video game and it's at least they're doing it in a video game and not in real life. And for those that are doing it in real life, it's the perfect time to teach them and let them know what they should and should not do to make their car that much better and to make them a better car enthusiast. So this is just a pretty long ranting topic that I just felt like discussing about. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments down below about ricers. Let me know what else you want me to talk about. And yeah, till next time, this has been your boy Tekken Heat, and I'm out. Peace.